Welcome back, guys, to Hardware Unboxed. I've said that line many times now, and it was just yesterday I was thinking about how long I've been creating YouTube videos for, and I realised it's been about a year now. In fact, it was actually October 18th, 2016, that I created my first video, or at least jumped in front of the camera for the first time, because I have been part of the Hardware Unboxed channel since day one. It was never meant to be something that I dedicated a good portion of my time to. Rather, it was just something I did for fun on the side with Matt. When Matt left Hardware Unboxed late last year, so October, we were at about, I think it was 32,000 subscribers, and we were only growing by a few thousand each month. It took us 18 months in total to reach the 32,000 subscriber mark, and at the time we were both pretty amazed with that. Unfortunately though, despite generating well over 500,000 views each month, the channel was making virtually nothing in terms of money, and it was really just getting harder and harder for Matt and myself to justify the time, effort, and money that we were investing in the channel. Obviously, Matt decided to move on and invest his time elsewhere, which is fair enough, and well, that kind of left me with a bit of a tough decision to make. I pretty much had the choice of jumping in front of the camera, but also taking on the entire channel, which there's a whole lot of stuff involved in running a YouTube channel. It's pretty full on. Or I could just axe the channel, basically just let it wither away and die. Well, obviously I decided the former, and here we are. And I think things have gone about as well as they could have over the past 12 months. We now sit at just over 150,000 subscribers. And yeah, I think it's gone really well. The channel still doesn't make a whole lot of money, but you know, whatever. I certainly don't do it for the money. For me, the fun's in gathering the results, you know, shooting, editing, making the videos, and of course engaging with you guys, the viewers in the comment section. I always really enjoy doing that. And over the last 12 months, I've certainly learnt a lot about presenting and video making and all that stuff, but I'm sure there's much more to learn as we go on. It is kind of fun to look back though. One of my first videos, in fact it was my second ever video, was a review on Samsung's 960 Pro 1TB SSD. And damn, looking back, it's kind of hard to watch that video. It's also a bit funny when I do. And I think 52,000 people have now watched that one. Since then, I've made 254 videos. So over the 12 months, that basically works out to be a video every day and a half, every 34 hours. So, yeah. Actually, a few of those videos were made by Tim, but whatever. In the last 12 months, there's been plenty of content on the channel. Speaking of Tim, he is currently in the final stages of wrapping up his university degree, and then next year he will be joining the Hardware Unboxed team, which will be me and Tim, full-time, and hopefully together we can take this thing to the next level. All that said though, whatever happens going forward, I'd just like to thank all of you for watching, supporting the channel, and yeah, it's just really appreciate everyone who stops and leaves a comment and hits the like button and, well, just watches the videos. Of course, a big thank you to all of our Patreon members. Those guys are just amazing. And with YouTube's AdSense being the way that it is at the moment, it's quite volatile. I really do appreciate the guys that support us directly and help us keep on going. And hopefully with Tim helping out next year, it'll give me a bit more time to give back to the patron supporters. So I've given myself a nice old pat on the back for making videos for 12 months. And I've thanked you guys for just being awesome. So I guess now it's time to answer a few of your questions. Okay, first question. Actually, I'll just let you guys know that I did ask on Twitter if you guys had any questions at all, I would answer them in this video. I've got 50 plus questions, so sorry if I don't get to your question. I'll probably only do about 20 of them for this video. But anyway, first one is from Neo Voodoo Tech at Neo Voodoo Gaming. Tell us about your first gaming PC experience. Was it recent or long ago? What sparked the fire? What got you into hardware and computers? Well, okay, I was going to try and just power through all these, but this is kind of a big one. Still, I'll try and be as quick as possible. So my first real gaming PC experience, that was back in high school, like 20 years ago. I can't believe it's been that long now. A friend of mine received what was at the time a high-end gaming system from his parents for his birthday. I believe it had a Voodoo graphics card in it from memory. It's quite funny. I remember at the time thinking, well, what's all the fuss about? It's just a computer. Surely my Nintendo is better for gaming, right? Then he showed me 3D accelerated MechWarrior 2 and my mind was just completely blown. The graphics were phenomenal for the time. So straight after playing MechWarrior 2 on his PC, I saved up, and less than a year later I hit the local computer swap meet with really no idea of what I was doing. So a bit ambitious, but yeah, I think I had $1,500 Australian, and I set out to build my first gaming PC. It was very exciting times. So yeah, I went to swap meet, I bought all the bits, and 2 days later, a lot of messing around. I remember there was memory compatibility issues and things back then. But anyway, got it working, and I've never looked at a console since. So the second part of the question, at first it was just about gaming for me, but before too long I became pretty interested in overclocking and tinkering with the hardware side of things, and there's much more to the story, but yeah, what headed me down the path of testing and reviewing PC hardware was just tinkering around with my own computer, and found it very exciting. Of course, being a teenager at the time, it was just all about gaming, but it really wasn't too long before I became interested in things like overclocking, and I did have a Celeron 300A, and I purchased that because you could overclock it, and I think I ran mine at 450 megahertz. But anyway, yeah, got into the overclocking, tinkering side of things, and that's pretty much what put me on the path towards where I've ended up. There's obviously a lot more to the story, but that's pretty much the gist of it. So thank you, Neo Voodoo Tech. That was a very good question. All right, next we have a question from JC at JC Muir. Congratulations, mate. Thank you. Quick question. Is a 1080 Ti SLI setup worth it for 4K gaming? And what is the biggest 4K G-Sync monitor there is? Worth it. Yeah, SLI is never really worth it from a value perspective, but I've always sort of said if you have the money to burn on something like, two high-end GPUs, like a pair of 1080 Ti's, then why not? Am I right? As much as I dislike SLI and Crossfire, I've always said that if you're going to use those technologies, then do so with the absolute most extreme GPUs available at the time, excluding anything with Titan in the name, of course. As for the biggest G-Sync monitor, I believe that award goes to either the Acer Predator Z35 or the HP Omen X35, and they're, as the numbers in the name suggest, they're both 35-inch displays. I don't know, I haven't used either of them, but looking at the specs, I think the HP would be probably the model I would go for that larger resolution. Anyway, I hope that answers your questions, JC. All right, next question. Steve at not Steven. Righto. Why is the universe the way it is? I feel like that's probably more of a science studio question, so let's move on. Warwick Fernal at Gabriel of Park. Yep, hopefully I got that right. What was your biggest PC disaster? Biggest PC disaster. That's a tricky one. Been lots of little disasters. I don't know what the biggest one would be. I guess when I was reviewing the Inwin Toe, I think that's how it's pronounced, I smashed a panel on it. That's a all glass, tempered glass case that looks quite fancy. It does have quite thin panels on it, but yeah, when I was removing it, I moved it, bumped it into something, I can't remember what, and shattered one of the front little panels on it. And it's a $1,200 limited edition case, so yeah, it wasn't really a disaster though, I suppose, because Inwin just shipped out a replacement panel, so can I do better than that? Actually, for a proper disaster, I have to go way back, like 14 years ago, 2003, when I was reviewing the Athlon XP 3200 Plus. Don't know if many of you guys watching this video are familiar with that processor, but it was actually a very good AMD processor back in the day, though the Athlon XP series did have a tendency to go up in smoke if the cooler wasn't seated correctly or wasn't there at all. So anyway, I just seated the CPU, so no cooler at all. I just put the CPU in the socket, that being me being the amateur, let's say, that I am. The system was plugged in at the wall at the time, so it was powered off, but I just put the CPU and I was lazy and left the power cord in and the power supply was flicked on. These days I always obviously flick it off when I'm working on it, but Well, I was young and stupid, let's say. Anyway, a mate of mine had just turned up with the intention of playing a couple of games. There was a knock at the door. It was a delivery, so I jumped up, went and got that. Came back a minute or two later, and there was a burning, bit of a strange smell in the room, and my mate was sitting there looking a bit guilty. He got a bit excited to play some games, saw the test system there, paid no attention to what was in this system, hit the power button on the case, and yeah, for those of you that are familiar with the Athlon XPs, in 1 second they just up in smoke and that's it. And it was a $500 US, almost $500 US processor at the time, and I had to go and buy one the next day, so that stung. Anyway, that was lesson learnt. I think I only killed about 3 or 4 more of those over the next year testing crappy socket A coolers. Okay, so moving on from cooking, burning, igniting Athlon XP processors, we have a question here from Wild at DB Wild Thing. Yes or no? Pineapple on pizza. I'd have to say hell no, but that's only because I just don't like pineapple full stop. Okay. Goat emoji at, literally is just a goat emoji, or you'll see it on the screen, at D3 Vilzol. Let's just leave it at that. How long is your usual workday, or rather, how many hours / week, I think he means per week, do you put into your channel? What is your most and least favorite video to make? Okay. I'd say this year a typical workday has been at least 12 hours, probably more like 14 to 16 hours would probably be the norm, I'd say. I've been pretty much doing this 7 days a week, so yeah, every day of the week. Yeah, it's a good thing it doesn't really feel like a job, it's just a whole lot of fun, but yeah, it does get tiring at times. But yeah, I hope to back off a bit more next year once Tim's helping out. YouTube is very demanding at the moment, so having Tim helping will be fantastic. So my favourite video, well, it's a bit of a tough one. I really like a lot of the content we do. I'm probably a bit biased, but yeah, I've really grown to enjoy the unboxing boxes series that Matt started. Yeah, sort of initially I wasn't that into that, but you guys seem to really enjoy it and got me into it a bit more, and yeah, I really enjoy doing that. And of course I love the big benchmark videos. But as for a favourite, there have been quite a lot of good videos this year, not trying to sound like I think our content's brilliant or anything, but yeah, I think we've done quite a few good benchmark videos this year, so I don't know if I could really pick a favourite. I did really enjoy the testing behind that Ryzen 5 1600 versus Core i7 7700K, and that was the one using Vega 64 and the GTX 1080, so yeah, that video was good. As for my least favourite, well, least favourite, that's a tough one because I don't really do any videos that I don't enjoy doing. I guess thinking back to everything this year, probably the most stressful time for me, and sort of the videos I didn't really like doing, or not that I didn't like doing them, they were just stressful, was the Computex coverage. That was pretty hellish, if I'm honest. I went into Computex really having no idea what that was like as a YouTube creator, how much was involved, and it turns out there aren't enough hours in the day to even come close to covering 5% of what's at Computex and all the events going on and stuff. So I was pretty much run off my feet for a week. Yeah, it kind of spoilt the experience. It was a great trip, really, but yeah, just a lot of work. So I think because those videos were so stressful and time sensitive and whatever, I didn't enjoy that as much as I could have, and I probably wasn't as prepared as well as I should have been, or it's pretty hard when you've never done it before. Anyway, next year, I will have Tim helping me at Computex, and I hope to have a hell of a lot more fun. All right, next question. Man, I'm so bad at pronouncing the names. You guys are going to give me the hardest time. Revocus Magma at Revocus Magma. What inspired you to test a wide range of games and other applications on multiple hardware configurations? Okay, another good question. A lot of good questions from you guys. Curiosity mostly, I would have to say. Like, I really just like working out how certain hardware performs in certain games. You know, just testing a couple of games doesn't always give you the full picture. Sometimes it does, but sometimes it doesn't. So anyway, yeah, I'd say curiosity, and I just try to deliver the best content I possibly can. It was really probably mostly because of you guys, because YouTube, you engage with the audience so much more than I've sort of experienced previously doing written stuff on tech sites. and you guys are always like, I want Arma 3 included, I want GTA 5 included, and there's so many games requested heavily by so many different people that we sort of, when we did the GPU head-to-heads, I was like, okay, this game has to be included, this game has to be included, and then there's games you have to include because they're new. And before long, the list just kept growing to 12 games, 16 games, 20 games, 30 games. So I think that's part of the reason. And, I just like to try and deliver, the best content possible. And I think all the hard work in doing that really has helped Hardware Unboxed stand out in the just sea of tech channels on YouTube. So, yeah, that's a bonus. All right, next question is from Bingo Snow at, I'll leave that one. Warm toilet seat or cold? Just as I said, the questions have been really good. This isn't a good question. Warm toilet seat or cold? Do I have to pick one? Because I'd like a warm toilet seat in winter. That'd be nice, and then a cool one in summer. But yeah, short of that, if I had to settle on one, can it just be like room temperature? So I suppose that's warm. Yeah. Okay. Moving on. All right. Next up, we have a question from Jacob. Do you plan reviewing gaming peripherals? Do you plan on reviewing gaming peripherals as well? So mice, keyboards, and headsets. Do we plan on reviewing peripherals again? Well, yes, that is definitely something we do plan on doing again. I know Matt used to do a lot of that on the channel. That was sort of more in Matt's wheelhouse. He liked playing around with keyboards, mice, headsets, and Bluetooth speakers and all that kind of stuff. I've been featuring them more in the unboxing boxes, and I get that's not really a technical review. That's something I definitely expect Tim will be interested in picking back up alongside his laptop and his technical monitor testing and reviews and stuff like that. And he'll probably do some roundups, so you'll see some gaming mice roundups, and he'll probably get a lot more in depth with the more technical, more scientific with the testing of mice than we ever have on the channel. So yeah, that could be something to look forward to. Thank you for your question, Jacob. Andre Peely at Jayla14. Do you think that people are sometimes a bit too emotional about tech? Like, lol, Intel sucks, don't buy them, or AMD sucks, and throwing around insults? Yeah, I do. It's okay to prefer one particular company, and I can certainly understand someone, sticking with a brand they know and they've had a good experience with. However, childish behavior, like the example that was just given there, people attacking one another just because they like a certain brand or whatever, and just poor conduct in general. It's really disappointing to see, I have to say. I do try to stomp that out as much as I possibly can on the channel, and I'll probably get a lot more aggressive with that in the future, especially, as I say, with Tim helping out, I'll have more time to moderate that kind of stuff. So yeah, you'll see me sort of jumping on that a bit more than I have been. I really do like it when I come across, a group of tech enthusiasts that are having a discussion about AMD, Nvidia, Intel, whatever it may be, and they're doing it in a really constructive and, polite, all that kind of stuff, good comment etiquette. And then you see someone just jump in there and make a childish comment and just derail the thread, and it all goes to crap. So yeah, I definitely want to jump on that a bit more and stop that from happening. But to answer your question, yeah, I do. Okay, next question from Echo at Zenstrive. Why do you choose to look like a cubicle drone? Also, please review a full tower case that is less than $150 USD and has 8 expansion slots. Alright, well, what do you mean? You don't like my shirts? Come on, what's wrong with the shirts? Why are you giving me a hard time about the shirts, guys? Just back off on the shirts. What was the other part? Yes, the case review. Well, I can certainly see what I can do about the case review. $150 full tower with 8 expansion slots. Yep, I'll look into that for you. Bloody shirt hater. Alright, where was I? Adam at Major Z-Man. What's your main source of income? Smiley face. I guess he knows that's a bit of a cheeky question, given the little smiley face at the end there. Anyway, to answer the question, I can tell you it certainly isn't YouTube. Not yet anyway. It's helping, but yeah, it's a smaller piece there. I don't really have a main source, which I have to say is kind of nice. Yeah, not all the eggs are in one basket there. I have a few different sources that keep me afloat, so yeah, that's nice. yeah, you have to be a bit dynamic at this level. I'm sure there'll be other content creators that'll tell you the same. You sort of have to branch out and do a few different things. I think once you're north of 1 million subscribers, you can probably start looking at YouTube full time. So yeah, get back to me in 10 years time. Okay, next up we have Prathamesh09. Hopefully I said that right. Are you in favour of teams implementing the Halo cockpit in F1 next year? Okay, well, for those of you who aren't F1 fans or know anything about F1, it's open cockpit racing, and sometimes when the cars go under things in accidents or flip over, the driver can be at serious risk there. It's kind of a controversial thing at the moment. As for my opinion on it, honestly, it might sound a bit bad because, you know, I know that this is all in the name of safety, but yeah, my answer would be no. I'm not really in favour of it. Yeah, I think it pretty much spoils the complete look of the cars, and I'm not really convinced it's needed. That said, though, like most race fans, it'll probably get to like mid-season, I'll get over it, and we'll just keep complaining about how you can't follow in dirty air or something like that. So yeah, thanks for the F1 related question. All right, next question from Indigo Deet probably, at Neolgiv. Okay. In your opinion, I know it's not the best time to be building a gaming PC. You said that. But still possible. But is it still possible to make it worth it? Your second still there tripped me up a bit. Okay. Is it still worth it? Yeah, I'd say it's still worth it. You can get GeForce graphics cards aren't too bad, and the AMD fanboys are going to come at you pretty hard for just recommending NVIDIA, but something like a GTX 1060 graphics card, they're very capable and they're quite well priced. They're not too far off the MSRP, and even the GTX 1070s aren't too bad either at the moment. So I think that they're sort of starting to normalize a little bit there. And I've even noticed the Radeon graphics cards are coming down. I think I saw some RX 580s for $250 US, which is still above the MSRP. They were only the 4GB models, and I think they're meant to be more like $200 US, so they're still $50 US, is still quite a bit over the MSRP. But anyway, other components like the Ryzen CPUs, they're incredibly good value, and the supporting motherboards, they're all readily available at good prices. B350 boards, you can get one, no worries, for like $70 US. And you can easily get away with 8GB of DDR4 memory for now. Of course, if you're not desperate, it might just pay to wait until early next year. You'll probably see better memory prices and graphics card prices and all that stuff early in 2018. All right, next up we have Santiago Liscano at Liskin. You have problems with demonetization thing of YouTube. Okay, so do you have monetization issues on YouTube at the moment? And what do you think about the new policy of Activision about matching marketing? So that would be the microtransaction based matchmaking system. I think the Activision microtransaction based matchmaking system, yeah, it's a pretty dumb idea. It's pretty insane. I can't see that playing out too well for them, but yeah, I haven't looked into it too much and don't have much more to say on it. I do have a bit to say on the YouTube demonetization. I suppose they're calling it, the Adpocalypse 2.0. That's pretty much what they're calling it on YouTube. And yeah, that's definitely hurt me a bit. If I relied solely on the channel to support my family, I'd have to say there'd be quite a few sleepless nights. So it is a bit of a scary time at the moment for content creators. But thankfully for me, anyway, that isn't the case. Like I said, I have many baskets with eggs in them. I did have a video, I think it might have been one of the top 5 worst videos I did recently. It's not a big benchmark video, but a lot of work and effort and editing and all that kind of stuff, research and stuff does go into those videos. So I spent quite a bit of time on it, and I did receive 100,000 views on the first day. So for our channel, or my channel, that's a huge success. Fortunately though, I didn't get a single dollar for that video. So yeah, that sucked. The video now has about 140,000 views, I think it is, and it's made me about $24 US. So yeah, that's why they call me Mad Money Stacks. $24. The YouTube climate is very volatile right now. The views are down, sub growth's down, and all that stuff's just massively slowed down. And thankfully, though, it's not just for my channel. Pretty much all smaller YouTube channels under, say, 500,000 subscribers, the tech channels that I sort of follow on that, they sort of seem to be seeing the same kind of slowdown. So hopefully that picks up soon. But yeah, not much I can do about it. So I'll just keep plotting along, pumping those videos out, and hopefully YouTube starts pushing them again soon for us. All right, next up we have Bernie Eng at eBernie. What's the relationship between TechSpot and Harbour Unboxed? Was an avid reader of TechSpot before age of YouTube. Okay, that's a pretty good question. I've been writing for TechSpot for at least a decade now, and I will continue to do so for the foreseeable. I do have a great working relationship with the team at TechSpot, and I think we're doing a pretty good job of merging the content between the YouTube channel and the TechSpot website. But basically, the relationship is I own Harbour Unboxed, whereas I essentially just freelance for TechSpot. But yeah, enjoy doing both of them, and will continue to do so. Again, thanks for the question. Moving on, we have Fangs Vortex at Fangs Vortex. Can you build me a PC? Sure, I can do custom Harbour Unboxed fan builds if you want. Let me know what your budget is. Next up, we have Timo for Life at Dak Master. Why does your intro sound like someone is flushing the toilet? Good question. Why does it sound like that? Well, I suppose they could very well be flushing a toilet. Who knows how they make up those sound effects these days. Yeah, it's a pretty crap intro, I know. Matt and I just whacked it together on the channel, or I think Matt picked it and did the text and stuff on it. I can't really recall, but yeah, it's just a pretty generic intro. Not a lot of thought went into the time. We weren't really taking it that seriously. It was just YouTube was something to try and have a bit of fun making videos. If you see our earlier videos, you'll see what we've come from. But yeah, it's something I definitely plan to change. I just really haven't had time. Like I said, I've been pumping out a video every 34 hours, so give me a break on the intro. I do plan to come up with something in the near future that is a little less pee-inducing, I promise. You can probably expect to see that early next year. Might do something over the Christmas break, sit down with someone and work something out. But anyway, yeah, new intro will be coming. Okay, next up we have To The Max Gamer. What advice would you give to budding tech channels? Also, how's your day been? Well, first of all, day's been good, thanks, mate. Just taking it easy, answering a few questions. As for advice, well, I think probably first and foremost would be prepare yourself to work hard. Yeah, like super hard. It's incredibly... YouTube tech channels in particular is just incredibly competitive. There's just a sea of them now. So, yeah, making it is pretty hard. But, I mean, I wouldn't say don't do it or be discouraged by that. Ideally, though, you just want to start it as a hobby. Something you just do as a bit of fun. Probably, you know, instead of maybe playing some games, work on your tech channel. So it's probably a more constructive use of your time. Still play some games, but yeah, cut it into your gaming time is what I'm trying to say. And yeah, hopefully it eventually evolves into something that can become full-time and can support you. So that is obviously the ultimate goal. That'd be nice. I'm still working on that. The number one thing though is, yeah, can't stress this enough. Don't do it for money. There's realistically very little money to be had. Yeah, like I said before, unless you get close to 1 million subscribers, more than 1 million subscribers, you're not really doing that well on YouTube, or at least that's been my experience so far. And also, just don't do it for the free hardware. I know it seems cool getting all this hardware and stuff, but yeah, it's kind of like it becomes your tools to do your job. So sort of how I look at it now. It's not, hey, look, I've got an awesome new GTX 1080 Ti or whatever. It's, oh, I've got a new graphics card for testing. I still get excited about and have the passion for it, but you know what I mean. It's the same sort of thing when guys watch me do unboxing boxes. I've got a massive, unbelievably huge pile of boxes I've got to get through here. And it's kind of exciting to get into them, but at the same time, it's like, well, I then have to do things with them, make builds and stuff, and you guys are sitting there thinking, oh, that sounds terrible. You have to build some PCs with it. But like anything, when you've done it a million times, it sort of loses a bit of its magic. For example, I've got, sitting right here a motherboard from MSI, and I have to use this in a few builds and do a few things with that to keep MSI happy. So, yeah, and there's mountains of things I've got to do. So, yeah, it's a job, but like I said, I put a lot of hours into it. It's a lot of fun, so I'm not complaining or anything. I love doing it, obviously, which is why I do it. But yeah, just don't do it for the free hardware, and definitely don't do it for the money. Do it because you love it and you like playing with PC hardware. That's really all the advice I have. Alright, to stop me from droning on with the answering question part of the questions, we have Hugo at Hugo TPDA. Well, what's it like to grow as much as you did in a year and become one of the most reliable, solid benchmarkers / reviewers out there? That's a very nice question. Well, before I can answer that, firstly, thank you very much. That's really nice to hear. That's really nice. It's been great to see the subscriber base just explode. It's been like 5 times, I guess, it's grown by 5 times in the last 12 months. And I think the best part of that is just having so many more of you to interact with and discuss videos with and topics and things like that. So, yeah, it's been good. As for the becoming a reliable source, I really do my best to provide the most accurate and unbiased information and results and stuff that I possibly can. I'm definitely proud of the work that I've done on the channel this year. But, as always, there's still areas and things I want to improve on. The fact that so many of you guys leave, positive comments and support and stuff, that really does encourage me and help me, keep me pumped up to keep delivering those big benchmark videos, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So, yeah. Big thank you to you guys again. I really appreciate all the support. On that note, thank you to everyone who asked questions. I was quite shocked by how many of you actually replied. I wasn't sure there'd be that many of you, but yeah, big thank you. There were a heap more that I didn't get to, and you guys keep asking questions all the time on that Twitter thread. So, if this is something you guys enjoyed watching, sort of me rambling on answering questions, then let me know and I'll do it on a regular basis and probably try to do it a bit more, work it out a bit more before I get into it and maybe make it a Sunday special or something. But yeah, if you enjoyed it, let me know. If you didn't, also let me know. You guys will anyway. I suppose if I did make it more of a regular thing, it might be a good idea to pick like 5 tech-related questions, maybe 5 or less personal channel-related questions, and then maybe just 5 random questions like, what kind of toppings do I like or don't like on pizza? Of course, if you did enjoy the content, like I said, let me know in the comments below. I'll gauge the response and we'll just go from there like we always do. Anyway, it's been a mega year so far. Of course, there's still more to come. We're not at the end of the year yet. And yeah, again, either late this year or early next year, Tim will be coming on board full-time to help out with the workload, and that's just going to be amazing. I think that's going to really help take the channel to the next level. So that's it for this one. I'm your host, Steve. Thanks for all your questions. I'll see you again soon.